Hey, family. What's up, YouTube? Another day to get better. So, if you guys have been following my videos, you guys kind of know my story. Growing up in foster homes and youth homes in the juvenile penitentiary, and pretty much my whole life growing up until I was 38 years old, I abused drugs and alcohol and made bad decisions, and my whole life got out of order. And for my fifth drunk driving, I was sentenced to prison, and I took a program, challenge incarceration program. You could volunteer for it, and if you finished it, you could get out of prison early. So I chose to take the content of my program and share that through YouTube videos in order that maybe exposing you guys to the information that I was exposed to, that it would have a positive impact on your life like it did mine. The topic for today's video is disease progression of addiction. So, disease progression of addiction. Addiction is a chronic but treatable brain disorder. People facing drug and alcohol addiction cannot control their need for alcohol or other drugs, even if in the face of negative health, social, or legal consequences. This lack of control is the result of alcohol or drug-induced changes in the brain. Those changes, in turn, cause behavior changes. Alcohol and drug addiction causes many changes in the brain. The brains of addicted people have been modified by the drug in such a way that absence of the drug makes a signal to the brain that is equivalent to the signal of when you are starving. That comes from the National Institute on Drug Abuse, from the director, Dr. Nora Volkow. It is as if the individual was in a state of deprivation, where taking the drug is indispensable for survival. It's as powerful as that. Addiction grows more serious over time. Substance abuse disorders travel along a continuum. So this progression can be measured by the amount, frequency, and context of a person's substance abuse. And their illness deepens, or as their illness deepens, addicted people need more alcohol or drugs. They may use more often and use in situations they never imagined when they first began to drink or take drugs. The illness becomes harder to treat, and the related health problems such as organ disease become worse. So, family progression of addiction, the progression of addiction within the family. The progression and recovery symptoms listed below are based on the most repeated experiences of family members living with the disease of alcoholism or addiction. While every symptom does not occur in every member of every family or in the same sequence, the progression chart does portray an average chain reaction. The entire process may take weeks, months, or even years. So early stages family members go through is family members become aware of problems such as money, house, chores, sex, etc. They become aware of, family members begin to nag or show concern, as I would put it. I don't know why they wrote nag. I guess that's probably the frame of mind we were in when we were introduced to the information. But they begin to show concern, feel the need to control. So family members feel the need to control the person who is abusing substances. And they begin to deny and to rationalize the addicted person's use and stuff like that. Middle stages that family members go through, they cover up for the alcohol or addict, obtain promises from the alcohol or addict, They lose their own self-respect. They feel insecure. They experience fear and anxiety. Begin headaches, ulcers, nerves, etc. They withdraw from others. Possible reactions are filing for divorce, reconciliation, and attempt to get help. Advanced or chronic stages, family members assume blame for drinking or drug use. They experience deterioration of their own health, realize the magnitude of the problem, affairs, overspending, neglect of family, react, tranquilizer and other pill use, attempted suicide, and they search for help. Yeah, I didn't realize that family members would go through all those things, but well, addictions progress in predictable patterns. The trap. People who become entrapped by life-controlling issues follow a predictable pattern. We usually are lured into experimenting with a dangerous substance, behavior, or relationship because it is accompanied by a high or feeling of exhilaration. Whether the experience involves alcohol or other drugs, illicit sex, pornographic literature, work, sports, gambling, excessive spending, or another avenue to addiction, the pattern and end result are similar. We call this the trap because it often snares its victims before they realize what is happening. Every person has the potential to experience a life-controlling problem. No one is automatically exempt. Even though no one plans to be trapped by such a problem, it can happen without a person's being aware. As Dr. Jimmy Ray Lee, founder of Turning Point Ministries, states, addiction is death on the installment plan. No one ever plans to be trapped by a life-controlling problem, yet it happens all the time. The best time to deal with a life-controlling problem is before it begins. Garth Lean, in his book On the Tail of a Comet, discusses Frank Buchman, the man whose ideas inspired change-oriented programs like Alcoholics Anonymous. Buchman had learned that temptation of whatever kind was resisted at its earliest stage. It was easier, he sometimes said, to divert a small stream than to dam a river. He defined the progression of temptation as the look, the thought, the fascination, the fall, and said that the time to deal with it was at the thought. Tackle temptation well upstream. So the best time to deal with it is at the thought. And most of my videos, the content or topic has to do with observing our thoughts, seeing if those thoughts are self-defeating thoughts, if those thoughts are producing triggers to use, creating negative emotions that make us act in a self-defeating way. So yeah, he said the time to deal with it was at the thought. And we'll get into those thinking reports. I did get a dry erase board because I found that it would be better to go through the thinking reports with that. But anyway, back to this article here. Meyer Pearlman writes concerning this progression of sin. A man is free to begin, but is not always free to quit. The Bible is full of accounts illustrating the progressive nature of sin. The stages of temptation identified by Buchman, the look, the thought, the fascination, and the fall, are illustrated in the Bible stories at the right. I don't see any in here. So, stages of life, controlling problems. Vernon E. Johnson, founder and president emeritus of the Johnson Institute in Minneapolis, observed, without trying to prove any theory, observed that literally thousands of alcoholics, their families, and other people surrounding them. Okay, so he observed literally thousands of alcoholics, their families, and other people surrounding them. He writes, we came up with the discovery that alcoholics showed certain specific conditions with a remarkable consistency. Dr. Johnson uses a feeling chart to illustrate how alcoholism follows an emotional pattern. So now we have thoughts, we have emotions. He identifies 4 phases. 1 is it learns a mood swing. 2, seeks mood swing. 3, harmful dependency. And 4, uses to feel normal. Many of the observations made by Dr. Johnson and others, including us, can also be related to other types of dependencies, although the terminology may differ. In Turning Point materials, these 4 stages are labeled experimentation, social use, daily preoccupation, and using the substance or practicing the behavior just to feel normal. Not everyone progresses through all these stages. However, there is no way to predict which people will begin the pattern. Who begin the pattern will continue to stage 4. By the time people arrive at stage 3, they're developing life-controlling issues are clearly idols in their lives. Okay, so by the time people arrive at stage 3, which was harmful dependency, they're developing life-controlling issues are clearly idols in their lives. Okay, I did not know that life-controlling issues can become idols. They are beginning to suffer negative consequences from their involvement, but instead of slowing down in response to the pain, they involve themselves more deeply. They look to the behavior, substance, or relationship that is entrapping them for comfort or relief. Their delusion grows deeper until they no longer recognize the truth. Well, that's the short article here on disease progression of addiction. And as you can see, or you heard, our thinking patterns and emotional regulation, being able to control and react to our emotions in a positive way, are helpful concepts. All right, so I'm going to read a nightly journal entry from a journal that I had to keep. And we are on October 10th, or November 10th of 2011. Almost 14 years ago, a little less than 14 years ago, when I took this program the materials I'm using to make these videos. What was positive and what was negative about today? For me, the positive for the day was that the ladies from Educational Opportunity Centers gave me some detailed information about college programs and how to better determine what career and course of education to pursue. Negative for the day was being told what time to get up, when to shave, and when to use the head. What were the main feelings I experienced today? I was basically irritated, I guess you could say. I don't particularly understand how the inmates are in prison for one, and volunteer for CIP, but act like children. What helped me make it through the day? I stayed busy with the program and I was making positive plans trying to choose a plan for education and career and long-term goals. What did I learn today? A woman named Mary Anderson patented the windshield wiper in 1903. All right, well, that was the video for today, guys. Hope you got something out of it. Like I said in past videos, I'm just exposing you to the information that I was exposed to because it had a positive impact in me changing my behaviors. Um, so keep pushing forward, never give up. Just because we've done something our whole life doesn't mean we have to continue to do it. God bless you. I'll see you in the next video.